people say that punk music is dead, but I'm here to tell you it's not. And I know that I may look like I don't know the first thing about punk music because I dress a certain way. I'm maybe a basic white girl, a girly girl, whatever you want to call it. But just because I look a certain way doesn't mean that I don't know shit about punk rock. There's a Descendants lyric for you, kind of. That was a bit of a stretch, but if you know what I'm referencing, let me know. Anyway, hi, my name is Fiona and welcome to my brand new podcast, Pretty in Punk. This podcast is going to be for all things punk, grunge, rock, and everything in between, and in each episode we will be diving into a brand new topic, whether it be analyzing an album or talking about one specific band or maybe talking about punk fashion. Whatever it may be, this is your one-stop shop for all things punk and rock music. For this first episode, I decided to do a little introduction about me and how this podcast is going to work. So, welcome, and as I said, hi, I'm Fiona, and if you don't know me, which you probably don't if you just randomly stumbled upon this video, I am a longtime punk music fan. Believe it or not, I know it's hard to believe, but I am. Growing up, I was always drawn to rock music, and I was always exposed to rock music growing up in my house or in the car. My mom would always play rock music, and I think because of that, I was always drawn to music like that. And the first song that I remember falling in love with is Boulevard of Broken Dreams by Green Day. At 4 years old, I was obsessed with this song, and I was 4 when American Idiot came out, so that was like the big album. Those songs were everywhere. Green Day was everywhere. And I remember in kindergarten, I was so obsessed with this song. I was the student of the month, 1 month, and we had to do, when we were student of the month, an all about me poster, and on that poster we would put things like, this is my family, and these are my pets, this is my favorite color, my favorite food, my favorite cartoon, and I decided to add my favorite song, and I said it was Boulevard of Broken Dreams, and again, I was 4 years old, so I know my kindergarten teacher was probably like, what the hell is wrong with this kid? But it was truthful to me, and I still have this poster, and when I look back, I can remember that that was my favorite song at that age. Flash forward, I rediscovered my love for Green Day my freshman year of high school after I saw a production of American Idiot. I grew up doing theater, if you can tell. I feel like it's pretty obvious by the way that I talk that I'm very theatrical, and I grew up with a theater background, but I saw my friend in a production of American Idiot. From there, I was like, oh my god, like I forgot how good these songs were. Because I loved Boulevard of Broken Dreams, I then got the Kids Bop CD that had Green Day songs on it, and of course they were like all clean and boring. But my brother also got the American Idiot CD that year when I was 4 years old, 2004. And I remember being in the car, and obviously there were a lot of swear words, and I was 4 years old, so when we would be driving in the car, my mom would turn down whenever she knew that like she learned the lyrics, and whenever a curse word would come up, she would turn it down. And you know, that only goes so far because there are so many, but she tried her best. But you know, that's when I got the Kids Bop CD. So that way I could constantly listen to the song without having to have my mom turn down the volume every time that they, you know, dropped an F-bomb in the songs. So Kids Bop 8, thank you for being there and being my first little introduction to punk music. Anyway, I see this production of American Idiot forgetting how much I loved this song growing up. After I saw that production, I was like, oh my god, like, Green Day is so freaking awesome. And now here y'all come in the comments, I know I'm about to get some that are like, Green Day isn't punk, they're a bunch of sellouts, they're a bunch of losers, blah blah blah. Like, that can be a whole other episode, and that is a whole other can of worms to open, but for right now, I'm giving you my background. So, you know, we could talk about all of that in another episode, but this is a pivotal moment for me and I want to share this with you guys. So after seeing that show, I think the show was on a Sunday, and then that following week I had school the whole week. So every day on the bus after that, I picked a new Green Day album to listen to and just listen to their whole discography that whole week going to and from school. And from there, my life changed. Like, after that, Green Day opened up my world to so many bands I didn't even know existed. Like, from there, on my Spotify then started recommending me like Descendants, NoFX, Bad Religion, Minor Threat, Misfits, Black Flag, like all of those bands, Operation Ivy, you name it. That list could go on for hours, but from there, like seeing that show, my life completely changed, and punk music became not only the soundtrack to my high school experience, but like the soundtrack to my life. I cannot imagine my life without punk music. I mean, because of my love for punk music, I have met so many people, I've made so many friends. I was in a band myself, I had a college radio show with a friend that was dedicated to punk music, and there are just so many things that loving punk music has opened my eyes to and has opened so many doors to me, and it is my favorite genre of music and just means so much to me. Anyway, welcome to Pretty and Punk Now. Flash forward, I've been sitting with the idea of starting this podcast for months. I've always wanted to be more involved with music somehow. I mean, like I said, growing up, I did theater, I did dance, I was in a band for a little bit, I wrote an EP, we played some shows, but now that I'm post-grad, I don't really get involved as much as I used to. Like, I don't do shows anymore, I don't play music anymore, and I missed it. I missed having this like creative outlet where I was involved in something special and something artistic. And I had been toying with this idea for a while, and then the name just kind of like hit me one day. I was like, oh my god, Pretty and Punk, that's perfect, because I love punk music, but I also love pretty things. Like, I like flowy tops, and I like getting blowouts and doing my nails and all that, and so the name just kind of hit me, and here I am now. And obviously I know Pretty and Punk isn't like that crazy original of a name. I know there are a couple songs named Pretty and Punk, whatever, but the name just kind of came to me, and I was like, that is perfect, because that is literally me. I'm a girly girl that loves punk music, so how more perfect can you get than that? So I kind of want to share a little story, a little anecdote as to one of the reasons how Pretty and Punk came to mind, the name. So for example, a few months ago, I think this was back in March or April, I went to see Descendants, Circle Jerks, and Adolescents. And first of all, that was a friggin' amazing concert. I mean, like, 3 iconic bands back to back to back. It was awesome. If anyone went to go see them on this most recent tour, let me know. Iconic, so good. I had been wanting to see Descendants for like 8 years now, and I finally got to see them live. My boyfriend surprised me with these tickets for Christmas. I'd been talking about it for months, and then finally for Christmas, he got me these tickets, and that day I was so excited. I remember like going to the gym in the morning, and then I got a blowout, and then I like did my makeup and all that, had a cute outfit ready, and I was finally ready to go to the concert. I got ready here, and he met me at my house, and then like I walk out, and my mom and my brother are in the living room, and my brother like looks at me, looks at my outfit, and he's like, you look like a soccer mom. And I was like, do I really look like a soccer mom? And I mean, he kind of was right. I mean, I had like my freshly blown out hair, my fresh nails, I had on my American Eagle jeans, my white Nike platform shoes, like it was giving soccer mom. But you know, just because I choose to express myself a certain way and I look a certain way doesn't mean that I can't listen to really cool music, right? So to me, a big part of punk music is self-expression, and I think that you can choose to express yourself however you want, and this is how I choose to express myself, you know? Like, I will be honest, I do love popular fashion, and that's okay. Call me a conformist if you want. I had someone comment that on one of my TikToks. They were like, oh, well, you're just a conformist then. Like, you're not actually punk. And I'm like, I I was punk, you know? I love punk music. I never said I was punk. You know, I'm a girly girl. That's what I am. And, you know, anyway, I digress. But there is a little anecdote for you as to how that name kind of came to mind. I think that day I was like, wow, I really am just not punk, you know? I think though, punk is definitely a mentality. It's not really like, you know, I know a lot of people who actually dress more punk and more edgy, quote unquote, but don't even listen to punk or rock music, and express yourself however you want and listen to whatever the hell you want, you know? Punk to me is just a mentality, a mindset. It's not anything but that, but it is also a freaking awesome genre of music that I am so excited to talk about more with you guys. So anyway, I have just been going on a tangent with that, but that is a little anecdote for you and how kind of Pretty and Punk came to be. So anyway, how this podcast is going to work. So first off, my goal is to have a new episode every week. I haven't settled on whether I'm going to post on Wednesdays or Fridays yet, and because this is episode 1 and it's so early on in the, you know, creation of this podcast, everything is subject to change, but I'm excited to see where it goes and how this evolves. And each episode is going to be a new topic, like I said, so whether that's like, I kind of mentioned some earlier, but I don't want to give away too many yet. There are a lot that I'm really excited about, but you know, some things, just some examples could be like some punk history, or maybe like a band spotlight, an album review, maybe some modern punk bands that I think you should be listening to. But yeah, every week will be a new topic for us to talk about and dive into. And I want to start off every episode with a song of the week. So the song of the week is either going to be 1, a song that goes with the theme of the episode, or 2, a song that I have just been really loving recently. So to get into the spirit of that, I thought that I would share my first song of the week with you guys. So there is a band that I've been loving. They are called Bad Nerves, and they're from the UK. They're from Essex, and they're freaking awesome. They describe themselves as a power pop band. Like if you go to their Spotify profile, that's what they define themselves as. But personally, I hear a lot of classic punk influence. Their guitar tones to me are very classic sounding, and a lot of their songs are even like a minute long, a minute 30, and to me that's very classic punk. Like that's giving very Descendants, Minor Threat with like those short but fast-paced songs. And I've been loving their new album that just came out in May of 2024. It's called Still Nervous, and my song of the week is from that album. It is called Jimmy the Punk, and it is my all-time favorite song right now. I probably listen to it 6 times a day, maybe even more. It's so good. I love the lyrics. It kind of tells a story, and I highly suggest. So once you're done listening to this podcast, go take a listen to that song and just that whole album in general. Both of their albums are just so good. And honestly, their newest album, in my opinion, no skips, which to me, like most albums I listen to, I have 1 or 2 skips. That one I just listen to in full when I'm like driving to work or driving wherever. I just put that on, and you know, I know what's coming up. I already know the whole album by heart, so I highly suggest. And we could do a whole episode about them, or about really any modern punk band, so you know, we can talk about them more. But I also do have a TikTok about them as well if you want to check that out. So that is our first song of the week, and then after I do my songs every week, I will then get into the main content of the episode, the meat and potatoes if you will. And that is how every episode is going to go. So that being said, that is the end of our first episode of Pretty and Punk. So I want to end out this episode by telling you where you can find the podcast and where you can find the podcast on social media. So if you want to listen to the podcast, you can find it on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, all the streaming platforms, just Pretty and Punk. And I will also be doing a video version of the podcast. It'll just be the same thing, but just a visual video of me talking on YouTube, and that will be Pretty and Punk Podcast on YouTube. And then Instagram and TikTok, I will be posting short form clips of each episode on there as well, and you can find that at Pretty and Punk Pod. That is on TikTok and Instagram. So my goal, like I said, is a new episode every week, so be sure to stay tuned as to when I drop a new episode by following me on all of my social media platforms. Anyway, I am very, very excited about this project, and I'm so excited to just share it with the world and just put it out there, and excited to see where it goes. So thank you so much for listening, and again, welcome to Pretty and Punk, and I'll see you in the next episode.